Let me just double check here. I don't see it yet, but it's on my computer.
Yeah, I see it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Kids Club program. We've missed you over the last 2 weeks, and it's good to get together and share a story and say a prayer together and be challenged for the weeks ahead. So I hope that you are all continue to manage at home and keeping busy and keeping active and keeping happy. So, did you know that we are still celebrating Easter? And even though we celebrated Easter 2 Sundays ago, it's more than just a day. Easter is a whole season, and we're in the season of Easter for 50 days, all the way until Pentecost. And we'll talk about Pentecost later and what happens then. Do you remember what happened just before Easter? Jesus was arrested, right? And he died, and he was buried in the tomb. And then what happened on Easter morning? If you think back 2 Sundays ago, Jesus was not found in the tomb. The 2 women had come to find him and to honor him, and he wasn't there. He had risen from the dead, and the women were told that he was alive and that they should go and tell some other people that he's not where they thought he would be, that he will come and find them soon. And the women go and do that. They go and tell other people. And then last Sunday, we heard a story that I think we could relate to. We could identify with the disciples. They were all still afraid after Jesus's death, and they were hiding out in their house. And Jesus appeared to them, and he told them, "Don't be afraid." And he offered them his peace. And one of those disciples had a really hard time believing because he wasn't in the house when Jesus appeared. And so Jesus showed up again. And he also offered Thomas, the disciple who wasn't there, he also offered Thomas his peace. And then Thomas also believed that Jesus was alive. And this week, tomorrow morning, we're going to hear a different story again. Caitlin sent this story out to you this week. Hopefully you got a chance to read it, but if you didn't, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. A couple of Jesus's friends, the disciples, are going for a really long walk between towns. Kind of like if you went for a long walk between Manotick and Barton, or Manotick and Greeley, or Manotick and Riverside South. That would be a long walk for you, right? And on their walk, they're talking, and they are remembering all of the things that they used to do with Jesus, and the kind of person that he was, and the kind of friend that he was, and how much they miss him. And they're walking, and they meet this man on the road. And they walk a little while with this man. And he asks them, "What are you talking about as you walk along?" And they say, "Jesus. Are you the only person who has not heard about Jesus?" And he doesn't seem to know about Jesus. And they are shocked. And how could you not know? Everybody knows about Jesus. And I'm trying to think right now about somebody, if you guys were talking about somebody famous, who that might be. Give me somebody, Caitlin, because I can't think of somebody.
Any celebrity?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of one that would be good for our kids.
I can't think of one off the top of my head.
If I give you a name and I'll date myself, and then it'll be embarrassing for all of us. So they're walking along, and they're talking about somebody who it's inconceivable that this man has not heard about Jesus. And so they start to talk about who Jesus is, and they tell this man all about him and why they missed him, and all the great things that he did, and all the miracles that he did, and how he healed people, and how he prayed with people, and the man listens. And then the disciples come to the town Emmaus that they were walking to, and the man starts to keep walking away. And the disciples say, "Whoa, come and join us. Come and have supper with us. Come and spend the evening and be safe and join us." And so the man does. And while they're having supper, the man takes a piece of bread and he blesses it and he breaks it and he gives it to them. And when he does this, all of a sudden the disciples know who he is. It's Jesus. He has been with them all day. And the second that they recognize that's who this man is, he's gone. He disappears from their midst. And then they are so happy and they jump up and they shout, we've been talking to him along the road all day, and didn't our hearts know it when we were telling the stories about who he was? Couldn't we feel it that he was with us? And so they run out and they tell others what they have experienced. I love this story. I love this story. And Caitlin is going to jump in and ask you some questions to think about. And you are watching our feed. While we're live, we're watching the feed, and we will check back in the next couple of hours through the day to see if you've asked questions. If you answer questions or if you ask questions, we will respond.
Yes, and we have a couple people on our live stream. Sarah Dunphy says, "Good morning, everyone." Eamon and I say hello. Hi. And we have Frank and Penny on.
Hi, Frank.
Yeah, so I think I'm getting a bit of a delay, so sorry if I'm talking over you. So our first I wonder question that you are welcome to answer is, I wonder what it must have been like to be Jesus and hear his friends talk with so much love about him. So I know that if I ever heard someone talking about me like that, I would be, it just gives you a good feeling. So you are welcome to comment. Let's see.
Gives me a warm fuzzy as well.
Yes, yeah. I will move on to our next question. I wonder what it must have been like to be the disciples and realize their friend was with them all day and they hadn't even realized.
Yeah. Can you imagine that person that you've been talking about and you missed so much, and it didn't even dawn on you. You couldn't, I would feel like I missed this great opportunity.
Yeah. And I will move on to our next one. You can keep commenting and we will go ahead and read your response on our live stream. I wonder if your friends came and told you a story about something so incredible, but you weren't there to see it. Would you believe them? I think this is a tough question.
So I'm gonna share a story, actually, because when I was in elementary school, and to this day, I don't know why I couldn't believe this. It was so weird not to believe this. I was walking from my house over to the church for choir practice or Sunday morning, doesn't matter. And one of my class and her mom had stopped to pick me up. I was walking and I jumped in the car and off we went. And she had told me, we were young, like maybe grade 4 or 5, old enough that I had no reason not to believe this girl. She had said, "I'm adopted." And I thought, no. And she insisted. And then when her mom was in the car driving me to the church, she said, "Mom, can you tell Carrie?" And I was so embarrassed. I can feel I'm in that car right now. I was so embarrassed to say, why didn't I believe her? I had no reason not to believe her. for some reason in that moment I needed different proof.
Mm-hmm.
And so I now as a grown-up try really hard to just take people at their word and
Yep.
just, you tell me that, I'm going to believe you. That's
Mm-hmm.
what you say. That's your story. Yeah. Mhm.
And as a follow-up question, if you're thinking about an experience at home, what would it take for you to believe them? And would you need to see it? Would you need some proof of this to believe them or to believe in a story that somebody tells you?
Mhm.
I think this question, it really depends on the situation. You have to, like you said, as we grow up, I mean, you just have to learn to, I think, trust people and take their word. And if it ends up being not true, well, you know.
Yeah.
And our last few questions are, I wonder, what do you do when you miss your friends right now? Now that we're staying home and we unfortunately can't go out to see our friends and our family.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite story about your friend who you're missing right now? And is there something you do? Maybe it's a game you play or something you only do with those friends that if you played them or heard them with other people, you would remember your friends? So is there something that just, sparks a light and you automatically think of someone?
Yeah.
I know I think I have a few people like that. Just some things they do, it just triggers a memory in my mind.
Yeah. For me, I was just telling somebody a story yesterday about a girlfriend from high school who moved back to Germany. And whenever I hear the words "take care you," which was a line from a movie, it's Andrea. That's what we would say when we would hang up the phone or when we would sign off our letters or then our emails. And then
Yeah.
now when we see on Facebook, it's "take care you." Even 20 years later, "take care you" is Andrea. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is all the questions I have for today. You can still comment your answers to these questions later today or whenever, and we will still see them and we can reply to you on in the comments. Um, so yeah, that's all the questions.
Excellent. And we would love to hear your responses. We are missing seeing faces and hearing your voices and your stories. And so don't hesitate to jump on and get mom or dad to
Yes.
respond for you.
Yeah. And I'd just like to mention I posted a video doing an Easter craft on the Kids Club page, and Eamon sent in a photo of his craft. It was very well done. I really liked seeing it. So keep sending them. You can email them to us or you can post them on the Facebook page. We would love to see them, and I'm sure everyone would as well.
And do you have a challenge or a homework for the week?
Yes, I do. I have a challenge. So this week, I challenge you to compliment 3 people. So maybe that's your friends who you miss, or your family through the phone or through a text message or an email, or maybe even somebody you see out on the street. I'm sure that it would brighten their day during these tough times. So that's this week's challenge. I hope you can complete it.
Excellent. And you have actually 2 weeks to complete that because we're going to be back together in 2 Saturdays.
Mhm.
And I don't know what the story is right now because I haven't looked that far ahead, but but we will come back together. We looking forward to hearing your stories about who you've complimented, if
Yes.
you've been complimented,
Mhm.
and if you want to share answers to your questions, that we can't wait.
Yes. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.